Hello, and welcome to CSP's At Your Convenience podcast. I'm CSP Editor Chuck Ulie, and I'm joined today by Rachel Toner, the owner of Taste Strategy. We're here at CSP's Dispensed Beverages Forum in Lombard, Illinois. And Rachel, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you so much, Chuck. I mean, it's always a pleasure to be on the At Your Convenience podcast. So I appreciate you bringing me back to have the new episode.
Yeah, and you are a member of personally, you are my first two-timer guest.
It's
so
an
thank
honor.
You. I'm going to jump right into it. Talking dispensed beverages. People are increasingly talking about dirty sodas, and you talked about it yesterday in your wonderful talk. Can you talk about, the name? It's a weird name, but definitely catches one's attention. And give me an overview of what dirty sodas are and why they are trending.
Sure, I'd love to talk about this. I think dirty sodas are something that are really trendy right now. A lot of people are talking about them. We're starting to see them become increasingly popular in businesses, whether it be restaurants, QSR, convenience. The name dirty sodas, it sounds a little like naughty, doesn't it?
Exactly.
and you just have to wonder where this name originate. And let me just start by talking about really what the definition of a dirty soda is. The name grabs attention, it's rebellious, but it's essentially a carbonated soft drink that's, I would call, spiked or has added flavored syrups added. You can add juices, inclusions, whatever. So it's just adding things to carbonated soft drinks. So that's really the heart of what makes a dirty soda. This trend, modern trend, originated in the state of Utah, which I think is really interesting.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And digging into why it originated there and why it's becoming more popular. Apparently, these types of beverages, these dirty sodas, have long been consumed by the Mormon community, which is really interesting.
Who knew? I
know. Who would have thought? And if you look into why, it's because in their faith they're not supposed to or not allowed to consume certain foods or drinks, and part of those restrictions include hot beverages like hot teas and hot coffees.
Okay.
So to sort of and there's this question around whether or not caffeine is allowed also. So this is part of the reason why they've sort of breaking outside, and to get their energy in their morning beverage, they've looked to carbonated soft drinks to get the sugary energy, and this alternative to hot coffees and hot teas, which they've coined.
So that's
dirty sodas.
That's like their workaround.
Absolutely, yes.
And so why are we talking about them today? Why are they? I guess it's a new trend. What's going on?
They say it's a new trend, but right. I don't know. Well, Richard Poy today, in his talk about beverage subscriptions, mentioned that I think it was his grandfather worked at a soda shop, and they added.
That's right. Yeah.
They added ice creams and other things.
Like a root beer float.
Yes.
And that was a dirty soda, right?
Absolutely. I think there's a lot of gray area between what we probably would consider a dirty soda. If you've seen my kids, we watch Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory on the daily. But do you remember the one scene at
the original with Gene Wilder?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, I love him so much. At the beginning of Willy Wonka, when they're in the candy shop, you see them pouring the soft drink, and the three kids come over and they're all sharing it with the straws. This early version of dirty sodas, it came from, I think they're called soda jerks, right? They would go kids would go to candy shops, and they would get these soda drinks, and they would add ice cream and cream sodas. There's even suggestions that, are you familiar with egg creams? Have you ever heard of this?
Egg creams?
Yes. No. This is a beverage that originated in the Jewish community in New York. And what they were doing is they were taking carbonated seltzers and adding chocolate syrup and milk and creating a carbonated soft drink that way as well. So I think there's a lot of question marks as to who is the real inventor, what the origins of dirty soda are. But we're seeing this become increasingly popular today because people are increasingly interested in beverages that they can customize themselves. And especially with young consumers, millennials, Gen Z, Gen Alpha, they want to make things that they want to make and create things that are unique and exciting.
Cool. So it's just, that's why I won't say it's not, this is why it has its resurgence today. The younger people like to control what they're having, and it's like fun, and they can mix it up and put it on social and share it. And that's part of probably the whole thing, right?
Yes, and we know that there's a variety of need states that contribute to why people purchase or are interested in certain non-alcoholic beverages. But we do see that customization and this need for control is something that's definitely driving this trend. We're increasingly seeing growth in beverage-focused QSRs offering these types of drinks, like Swig. We're seeing a lot of, Swig was one of the original beverage QSRs offering dirty sodas. So we see Swig and
Dutch Bros?
Dutch Bros, exactly. I think there's, like I said, there's gray areas between what we consider dirty soda, but I think we're seeing this this growth in consumer-driven, highly customizable beverages in QSR.
Would you say right now, dirty sodas today, is it still in its infancy? Is it beyond infancy? Is it maturing? It seems like it's, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but it seems it's building steam.
Chuck, hot take on this. Okay, dirty sodas are at Denny's, so I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say that this is mainstream. I think that's like my ticker to determine where things are. Right? Is it at Denny's? What they're calling them slammin' sodas, but they're dirty sodas, versions of that. So Denny's is offering dirty sodas where you have the ability to add sweet cream and lime to those. Oh, wow. So that's that. But I think from a research perspective, what we see in like the menu adoption cycle, when we think about things that are really trendy or things that are ubiquitous, we're seeing, even though it may be not in full serve, but we're seeing consumers come into convenience and make dirty sodas on their own. So they're taking this trend and looking at dispensed beverage and saying like, oh my God, we can come in here and we can do this based upon what they're seeing on social media and these QSR trends. So
would you recommend a convenience store retailer to play this up? Like say, hey, you can come into our store and make dirty sodas. You know what I mean? Like if I'm a retailer, what can I do to take advantage of the dirty soda trend?
There's so much opportunity for retailers right now because for the majority of them, they already have the ingredients needed to make these types of drinks. Generally, convenience retailers have a wide variety of dispensed beverages, whether it be carbonated soft drinks, teas, lemonades, frozen, you name it. And you go to the coffee customization island, right? And you've got creamers, you've got half and half milk. Some have pumpable syrups or other ways that you can customize these beverages. So they already have the things needed to make dirty sodas. I think the barrier is being able to communicate or giving their consumers permission to come in and be able to create these items with what they have in store.
And when you mentioned soda jerks, it reminded me also of the young George Bailey in It's a Wonderful Life. There was a scene where he was working at Gower's at the pharmacy.
I think we should bring it back, right? I think that's like maybe we should bring back these old trends, right? Get soda jerks back in the cycle. I love this trend, and I think there's so much opportunity.
Yeah. So my next question was, what are your thoughts on the trend, and how are you working into the work you do advising clients?
This trend, I don't foresee going anywhere. I think it's going. What I mean by that is, I think it's going to be around for a long time.
It'll become a mainstay.
I mean, people wanted to customize their beverages for forever, I think. But what we're seeing now is, per my talk yesterday, is consumers are interested in breaking these invisible rules that we've set on dispensed beverage, and they're interested in challenging the norms that we've put around food and beverage. So allowing them to come into our stores and do the things that they want and letting them create with us, there's so much opportunity. So when I advise my clients, I help them think about if they're not if they're, with regards to where they're at with the type of innovation that they're offering customers, I'd recommend, if they're just starting out, maybe you take slow steps, maybe start talking to your consumers about, hey, we know that this is popular. Come into our store through social or other means, and help guide them towards making these types of beverages. So taking those small steps, but retailers that might be a little bit more advanced or have some sort of specialty beverage, there could be a lot of opportunities to push the boundaries. What we would consider innovative from that perspective.
What would be can you think of one boundary push?
Wow. Gosh, I think one of the trends that we've been seeing, and I would like to give Dutch Bros the props for this, is that I think we're seeing an increase in, especially with GLP-1 drugs and things like that, there's this need or desire to have protein in beverages.
Yes.
So I think there could be opportunity there to think about creamers or adding milk to our beverages, having something that might be high protein. Cool. They have a milk that has, I want to do a fact check me on this, but I think it's 8 grams of, it's more protein than what would be normal milk through increased casein proteins. So I think that, and we're also seeing consumers adding protein shakes to dispensed beverages. So there's a lot of opportunity, I think, from pushing the boundaries in terms of functional ingredients like protein, vitamins, extra caffeine, things like that.
And you said casing proteins?
Casein. Sorry, no, that's not it. It's C-A... S-E-I-N, I believe.
Gotcha, okay. Well, listen, any final thoughts on dirty sodas?
Oh my gosh. I think I'm really excited to see where this concept goes in the future. I think that consumers have the right idea with breaking the rules, and I think just allowing consumers to take full ownership of customization and convenience is where we're headed next.
Well, cool. And do you have a dirty soda that you do anywhere, any stores?
I recently, to from a sensory perspective, right, went in and I did buy a protein shake and added it to a Diet Coke and added some syrups, and that was really cool. But
at a C-store?
At a C-store. And it's a little bit more expensive, right, because protein shakes are expensive. But I think the most classic version, as we see in beverage-focused QSRs, would be the Dirty Dr. Pepper, which is Dr. Pepper with coconut-flavored syrup.
Oh, okay.
Which sounds delicious. They have this thing called Shark Attack, which is blue, and it's got this gummy shark on it. It's Sprite, lemonade, blue raspberry, and with the gummy shark. So,
wow.
Chuck, there's just unlimited potential for this, and it's just a trend that I just am really excited about seeing.
Well, cool. Well, listen, Rachel, thanks for coming on the At Your Convenience podcast today. I want to thank you for your time, and I want to thank everybody for listening. And don't forget to rate and subscribe on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Once again, I'm Chuck Ulie, editor at CSP, and joining us today was Rachel Toner, the owner of Taste Strategy.
Thank you, Chuck.
Thank you.
Pleasure.
Bye-bye.